Hello, my name is Matthew Jessner. I'm a White Tiger Qigong instructor, and today we're going to talk about hips and the pelvic girdle. Now, the pelvic girdle is the foundation for the spine, its alignment, and many of its movement, front, back, rotation, lateral. It's also tributary of and guiding for the legs, which are responsible for all of our locomotion, which is really important. That's a lot of responsibility for one region, so we need to understand that. The success of that is underscoring the tandem work of stability and mobility. So if the stability becomes too rigid, then we lose movement vocabulary and lots of other things. If the mobility becomes uncontrolled and it goes into laxity, then we lose the ability to control our movements. Either one of these excesses lead to potential injury and just a lack of physical well-being. However, if we really understand knowledgeably how to work these two elements, we can take that nice zone, that tandem zone of stability and mobility, and widen our repertoire of motion. This is amazingly important for our well-being, and also just it's a nice sensation to have. So what I've prepared for you today is a short video with a basic routine of many different motor functions of the legs and somewhat of the back to actually help build that tandem that I'm speaking of. So please take these exercises to the degree of your physical capacity and beyond, hopefully. And I've also prepared at the very end of this video a small snippet of one of the forms from the 5 elements, which is the dragon, which demonstrates rotation, stability of the back, the way that the foundation of the hips move, and how we displace that along the weight distribution of the legs. So that's a lot of technical information, but it's really not. It takes time, engagement, persistence, patience, knowledge, and just go. So I really hope you enjoy the video and have a great practice. The pelvic girdle. The pelvic girdle connects the torso with the spinal motions front, back, rotation, and lateral movement. Connected through the sacrum into the pelvic girdle. The legs, the lower body, the 2 femur bones connect to the pelvic girdle through ball and socket joints, permitting flexion, extension, abduction, adduction, circumduction, external rotation, internal rotation, and external and internal rotations. We use the pelvic girdle to unite both functions, torso and locomotion from the lower limbs. So we are now going to put our hands on our sacrum and draw a circle around our feet as if it were a compass. The feet are joined, and the hips do a circle around the feet, and the head remains stable. This is called circumduction for the hips, and it's a way of also mobilizing the lumbar spine and its connection to the pelvic girdle. This encourages circulation in the ball and socket joint, synovial fluids, gentle warming up, and as you notice, it's a pelvic motion and not with the shoulders. Now we're going to lift one leg into the flexion position. So this is flexion. The femur bone is lifted. Flexion, we connect the lower spine and the knee for the stability. And on the other foot, lifting the foot, lifting the breastbone, lifting the crown, grounding the feet, and sustaining the position for stability. Now we're going to open the feet out 3 rotations in width. The legs are straight, completely straight, and we're going to do the same circumduction movement with the hips. Same position on the back, but the legs are straight. So it's a little bit of a grinding look, but we're not grinding. We're lubricating the ball and the socket. And we're going in both directions. So you can feel the connection of the hip bones and the sacrum. We bend the knees slightly, and we're going to try to stabilize the hips and mobilize the lumbar spine. So therefore, we're encouraging the stability of the sacrum lodged into the pelvic girdle and the stability of the hips and the fluidity in the knees. Notice that we are not dropping our knees in. It's a rotation of the lumbar spine, no hula. And now we're going to turn our right foot out at the heel, left foot in at the ball of the foot, and our hips are directly to the side in what I call the headlights. Hips. Now we're in extension. The back leg creates a small extension. If we lean into the front knee, we now have flexion in the front leg, extension in the back leg, and sacral stability in the pelvic region. This is called the bow stance, gongpo. We turn on the ball of the foot, back on the heel, and we're back where we started. Opposite side, heel on the ball of the foot, directly to the side, and we lean the weight forward. Flexion in the front leg, extension in the back, and the sacral stability, gongpo. Turn on the ball of the foot, on the heel of the foot, and we're back where we came from. Now we're going to bend our knees into mabu, which is the horse stance, and again, encourage the stability of the hips and the suppleness of the lumbar spine. And now we're going to move one more foot length out, and we're 4 foot lengths out, wider, directly to the front. The femur, both legs are completely stretched. And we're going to bend directly forward, opening the lumbar spine. Do not lift the shoulders. Keep the breastbone out and the focus down and in front. Placing the hands directly above the knees, not on the kneecaps. This is for the hips. We're going to start rocking our hips, not the shoulders. The hips rock. So it's actually rocking the hips, exactly. So the shoulders don't go from side to side. They're not swaying. The back is rolling because we're switching the legs. So when we roll in on one leg and out on the other, we're having abduction and adduction in the hips. And the lower spine is very well maintained. This is a very good limbering exercise, but it's also for having the stability. You can reach down onto your shins if your flexibility permits without compromising, down to your ankles, down to your feet, and we're rocking. The most important thing is the stability of your lower spine. You can shift over to one leg if your flexibility permits. It is not necessary. And when we come up, we're going to place our elbows over the knees and lower the sacrum. The weight is on the elbows, on the thighs, permitting you to relax your hips, sitting down to the degree of your flexibility. We're in flexion, abduction, external rotation, and adduction, which is very important in the horse stance for the stability. We put our right hand on the right thigh and push around. Notice that we do not collapse in the knees. It's to open the lower spine and to encourage the stability in the horse stance. Replacing the elbow, other hand on the knee, and push to the other side. Coming back front, resting the weight. Now, 4 things are happening. Flexion in the femur, adduction of both legs, which are moved away from the medial line, external rotation of the thigh, and an adduction, which is the stability of the horse stance, holding the earth. And we just raise the back, and we are in the horse stance. Notice the position of the feet. The adduction allows you to rise. Now we're going to put our hands on the hips, and it's a smaller circle. It's still the nice, juicy lubrication, the synovial fluid, and the ball and socket joint of the hip joints. Do not hurt yourself. Take it nice and easy. This is just for relaxation. Now we're going to open one more foot length out. We're at 5 foot lengths out, straight legs entirely. The weight. We're going to shift the weight laterally entirely, keeping the back erect, not bending forward, directly to the side. And we're going to slide one arm straight down and rest the weight on the elbow of the knee. The back is straight, almost as if we were speed skating, you see? And the feet are firmly planted on the floor. It's an exercise for the back and the supporting leg hip, which is bent. Put one hand on the knee and push yourself up, not to strain the back. Come directly, and we're going to go directly to the other side, just completely laterally, very square. Relax the back forward, placing the weight on the elbow and the knee so you can sustain the relaxation in the back of your legs. Place your hand on your knee and press yourself up. Okay, now we're going to do this again. Lateral, go directly forward, stable position, and to the degree of your flexibility, slide your hand down to your ankle or to the outside edge of your foot, or anywhere. You do not need to do this. The supporting hand rests on the bent leg, and you can just sink down, relaxing the hips down to the degree of your flexibility. Very important not to lift either of the heels in this position. Feet flat on the floor. Push on the hand to rise, come straight up, and you survive that. We go the other direction. Straight down, elbow onto the knee, supporting the weight. Back straight forward, sliding the hand down the extended leg to the degree of your flexibility. The hand of the foot of the bent leg is where the support is. The weight is supported on the hands. Pushing the hand to rise, come straight up, and we've survived this. A little more ball and socket action just to encourage the relaxation. So it's the integration of the lumbar spine and the hip socket joints. Very important. Now we're going to walk the legs in, internal and external rotation in the ball and socket to walk the legs in. There you go. Now we're going to do a variant on the flexion. Raising the right knee at the same hand, open the thigh out with the stability in the lumbar spine and sustain the weight by holding in the hips. Stability. This is much more about stability, vertical and external rotation stability, than it is about flexibility. Correct. Maintain internal rotation and back down. Now we have done flexion, extension, abduction, adduction, circumduction, external rotation, internal rotation, and external rotation. We've done all those movements. We've also encouraged the integration of the lumbar spine in two different positions, forward and back mainly, in this exercise. Now, we can go a bit further in this. We're going to go out 5 foot lengths. Now this time, exception, we're going to turn the feet out. Go straight down, over to the side, and you have an external rotation of the right thigh, which is bent, and an external rotation of the left leg in the ball and socket. Pointing the foot, we don't let the right knee fall in. We keep the right knee out, and we turn away from it, and we have a good alignment on the tibia. This is for the extension of the lower back and of the front of the hip, the psoas muscle. The stability. Use your hand to push yourself up, no strain. Plant the foot, come back up. Other side, open out, straight down. Their feet are out. We have an external rotation of the femur on the left side, which is bent, and an external rotation in the ball and socket of the right leg, curving around and back. Pointing the foot, turning the legs, vertical with the tibia, stable position, stability in the back. Put your hands on your knees and rise up using your hands and your back foot, not to strain. Now we go into Mabu, which is the horse stance. This is a very significant position in what we do. We are doing the flexion, abduction, external rotation, and the adduction holding the earth. It is not a squat, and with that we can come directly up. Thank you very much. And now, as an illustration of how to put this all together, I would like to demonstrate the Dragon Qigong. Rising the Qi in the body, settling the Qi in the body. One arm on top of the other, one hand in front of the middle dantian, the other lower dantian, rocking the weight to the right, prowling out with the left, placing the toe gently on the floor and sinking into the horse stance, condensing the Qi. Inhaling, turning to the left, full spiral, strong back leg, tall top arm, complete rotation for the kidneys. Coming back around, arms remain straight. Confirm the horse stance, the Mabu, one movement back into Zhangchuan, and stabilize with the other hand on top. Shifting to the left, prowling out with the right, into the horse stance, and sink down, compressing the Qi. Turning to the right, full rotation, strong back leg, tall top arm, and coming back around to the front, and confirming the Mabu, the horse stance, coming back, and we're back where we started from. This was just an example to show you how the hip stability of the rotations and the stability, everything all comes together in one form. And closing our practice, we go back into the Zhangchuan, which is the home of all of our practice. 4-gate breathing, 2 hands, 2 feet, dantian. Thank you very much.